Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be talking about 3 builds you can try until the patch comes out. I'm sure if you're just like me, you're looking for new builds, new things to do, new heroes to try. Personally, I didn't want to make this list just like a bunch of offlane heroes, but personally, the heroes I've been playing, and I made videos on them, has been Witch Doctor offlane, Beastmaster offlane, and Doom. These are the 3 main heroes that I've truly been enjoying a lot. The timings on these heroes are so potent, man, I'm telling you, they're just absurdly strong. And so yeah, without further ado, I'd like to talk about 3 builds that are not necessarily all offlane builds. I have a safe lane build, a mid lane build, and an offlane build, and for support players, I have an honorable mention hero, but I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty damn hard to find a support build. Alright, so I want to start with the offlane just because I think this build's pretty cool, and I saw it from Toby. You heard that right, Toby, the professional player. So the build that he goes is very interesting. It's a Marana offlane build, and it's very stat and aura oriented. However, it largely revolves around the shard. So Marana as a core is pretty good in the laning stage. I would say the only main downside to Marana in the offlane is she definitely has somewhat of a sustain issue, as her armor isn't very good and she doesn't have any way to sustain her HP, right? She has no HP regen. And as a result, I really like the items that he buys. What he bought almost every single game was 3 Wraith Bands and Magic Wand. This might seem a bit extreme, and to be fair, it is a bit extreme. I personally think 3 Wraith Bands is a little bit overkill. I don't really know why he does 3 instead of 2. I couldn't tell you. Maybe he just thinks this is the magical number for winning the lane. But yeah, in 2 of the 3 games that he recently played, and by the way, he won all 3 of his games that he tried doing this, he went 3 Wraith Bands, in 2 of them he went Wand. Then after that, he purchased Mana Boots. Mana Boots for obvious reasons. You want to spam your Starstorm, you want to spam your arrow, and this is going to allow you to farm. Also, in all 3 of the games, he went Mana Boots into Mech, then Mech into Greaves, and this is pretty nice for Marana for a couple of reasons. As I talked about, your hero doesn't have a good way to sustain HP, so the early headdress actually is a bigger deal than you think. The hero has a little bit of armor problems, so Mech helps with that, but at the same time, if you're buying 3 Wraith Bands, well, your armor problems definitely go away. From there, the Greaves is nice because this hero definitely benefits a lot from having a Dispel. Heroes like Ember Spirit or Skywrath Mage or Puck are all pretty good counters to Marana because of the fact that she just sort of can't get away from these nukes typically, right? She gets locked down, her HP pool isn't that good, and she dies, right? She's a very mobile hero. So having Greaves really keeps her alive in a lot of these games. Now to talk about the interesting item, we have the Aghanim Shard. In 2 of the 3 games, he purchased it before the 16-minute mark. In 1 of the games, he purchased it at minute 24 because he wanted an earlier pipe after the Greaves. So yes, he's mostly doubling down on auras, not completely, and we'll talk about the other options. But from there, he picked up a Shard. If you don't know what Marana's Shard does, it's kind of weird, and honestly, for a while, I thought it was pretty stupid. I still am a little bit suspect about it, but it's a fun build nonetheless. It gives you 1 extra leap charge, and upon landing on your leap, you shoot out what is similar to a Dragon Slave, Lena's Q. It looks somewhat similar. They did change it where now it's like icy, and so that's pretty cool. But it shoots out this little, this Dragon Slave, and it does 170 damage, which is not bad, right? That helps bursting people down with your Q and your arrow. It's not bad. It slows for 30% for 2.5 seconds. Right, so it's nothing insane, but honestly, having an extra nuke on a hero like Marana that already has 2 built-in nukes and having an extra leap charge is actually very, very nice. On top of that, because of the fact that it's a slow, it adds an extra bit of utility. And of course, the main idea behind this build is you're kind of playing a rich position for Marana, right? You're getting Greaves by minute 14, minute 15, then you're getting your Shard, and so you have a lot of early magical damage nukes, and you're hard to kill, right? Support Marana tends to be somewhat easy to kill as she's only going to have a mech, maybe a magic wand. She's definitely not going to have Shard. Very unlikely to have completed Greaves around the 16-17 minute mark unless she's having a god game. And so yeah, you're kind of just playing like a buffed up version of support Marana. From there, he actually picked up Ags in 2 of the games after Shard. And if you don't know what Marana's Ags does, when you throw arrow, every unit near the arrow gets affected by Starstorm, and this allows you to one-shot creep waves and farm neutral camps extremely quickly. It also is decent at bursting down enemies, but if that's your main goal, you probably should just buy like E-Blade or more realistically a Veil. However, I think the main selling point of Ags is it's a little bit of damage in fights, right? You know, you're still getting an extra Starstorm, but really the main selling point is the farming potential. Makes you very tanky, so it works well with the Greaves, which does not give you HP, so when you buy Greaves, it's nice to buy an HP item. That's going to be the Ags, of course, and yeah, you farm a lot, do a bit of extra damage. From there, he picked up Hex. Yeah, Hex. All 3 games, he bought Hex last item. I'm not kidding. I don't exactly know why. I guess leap into Hex is fine. I mean, you can leap Hex, then follow it up with Arrow, and I think Hex is just a good item with utility builds, and really I think that's actually the main thing it comes down to. Truly, I believe that. Also, I want to tell you guys that if you've been struggling with solo queue and you're looking to get to the next rank, I'm going to be able to help you. Like, literally, with the Game Leap website, I'm going to give you guys guides that are going to make it unbelievably clear on what you need to do. So if you've been stuck in the solo queue grind, you don't know what to do, and you want to become absolutely broken, but like actually you want to become much better at Dota, and you want to take it more seriously, the Game Leap website is going to help you do that. So click the link down below. I'm going to help you get to the next rank, and I'll see you there. All right, getting into the second build is Necrophos. This is a hero I actually want to start playing in pubs a little bit. I'm like such a big fan of Necrophos, and the reason why is I really love this hero shard. Like truly, I am such a big fan of this hero shard. Now there's 2 builds I generally recommend on Necro. I was looking through all the recent matches on Pro Tracker for Necro because I wanted to see which build I really felt I would be more confident in suggesting to you guys. And I'm not gonna lie, almost every game where the Necrophos bought Radiance, they lost. And I kind of get it. I feel like Radiance on Necro is sort of a waste of the hero's potential. If you buy Radiance, you're not abusing your level 8, your level 9 timing. You know what I mean? When you have that maxed out Death Pulse, you probably won your lane, that maxed out E, and you can get aggressive and run at people. If you buy Radiance, I mean, you don't have a Hooded Defiance, you don't have an Urn, a Vessel, you just don't have all of these nice, cheaper items that are way more effective in the early game, and you certainly don't have your Shard, which allows you to one-shot creep away. It's pretty nice, even compared to Radiance. So, I mean, as much as I want to recommend Radiance, I think it's okay some games. I think Radiance is okay some games, like if and only if the enemy really lacks damage. Like it's just some low damage team comp, you know what I mean? That's up to you to decide, but it's, man, it's tough. So in the game I'm looking at, it was actually an offlane Necrophos, and I kind of like the item build he went. He was against a Primal Beast and a Zeus, 2 heroes that are very good against Necro. Pangolier and Marana as well, actually kind of 4 heroes that are good against Necro, and even an Anti-Mage, which can be actually a difficult lane for Necro in some cases. It depends on the supports. But yeah, I really like the item build he went because it just addressed the matchups, and I really believe that the best way to play Necro is to address your matchups. Is the enemy team high physical damage? Maybe pick up an early phase boots, right? Make sure you get that ability to kite and that little bit of extra armor, right? Maybe pick up a windlace as well and a wand to top it off. However, a lot of people sort of just like buy whatever, and I really don't like this, because this game, the main thing killing him is going to be magic damage. So he went Wraithband components, branches, Fairy Fire, and Tangos. From there, he upgraded his stats into a Wraithband. Then he bought boots, which is a must on this hero. I even think upgrading to boots might be better before upgrading to Wraithband, just because the boots really allow you to click the enemy safe laner a lot and not get chased down with your 285 base movement speed. From there, he upgraded into mana boots, which I used to be a hater about. I mean, they just buffed the mana cost of your Q, not by a ton, but by a decent amount, 30 at max, which is actually quite noticeable, I'm sure. But yeah, he purchased mana boots. It was probably good with the hoodwink he was laning with, right? That's definitely nice to have the ability to give mana to not only yourself, but also your position 4, and that can change a lot of lanes. So it probably was somewhat lane dependent. You definitely don't need this every game. Some games you can go something like Magic Wand, Raindrops just become infinitely more tanky. You can, as I said, go the phase boots that really dominate the lane harder. You can even go something like Falcon Blade with treads if you're really looking to farm up a storm. You know, there's definitely options on this hero. You just have to gauge how the game is going. Mana boots are great if you and your position 4 need mana, of course. Then he went Hooded Defiance, right? Just perfect this game. After that, he bought Mech, not rushing the pipe. Hooded Defiance is more overall HP for yourself than Mech is, especially in a game like the one we're talking about here. And so yeah, the Hooded Defiance is great. Then he goes into Mech, not wanting to rush the pipe, which I respect. Mech is a little bit cheaper than finishing the pipe, right? And it gives you more overall burst survivability on your main hero, so it's definitely pretty damn nice to get. From there, he bought Greaves, which I think Greaves are a little bit overhyped sometimes, but you know, if the enemy team picks up a Spirit Vessel, which none of them did, so he didn't really, I'll be honest, I don't really think he had to go Greaves this game. I think he could have went Mech into pipe. I personally think against like a Primal Beast, Marana, Zeus, Pango, it might be a little bit better than the Greaves, because there's nothing truly to dispel here, so I don't know, it's a bit tough for me. Like, maybe it's good against Anti-Mage's Metaverb, you know what I mean? But okay, yeah, so he picked up Greaves, then after that he went Kaya Sange. Well, he bought Shard and then Kaya Sange, and I don't hate the Kaya Sange. It's definitely nice for your overall just survivability, as the Sange is incredible. Status resist is great against something like Pango and Marana, but at the same time, I think, as I said, it just depends on the game. You can pick up something like Halberd, but the Shard is a must in my opinion. Like, the shard on Necro just changes how the hero functions. It goes from really slow at farming to actually incredibly fast, and it doesn't have to show for a long time on creep waves, and that's going to keep you very safe. So yeah, I think the shard is a must buy. Just aura items plus shard, generally the best way to go. But Radiance on the mid build is very, very fun, right? So as I said, we were looking at an offlane Necro, but this build can easily be transported to mid and feel just as, if not better. I really think Necro is like somewhat of a better mid, only because of the fact that the hero in the early levels can be punished by 2 heroes due to his low armor, low base HP, and low movement speed. All right, finally getting to the safe laner of the list, we have Armlet Radiance Lifestealer. Armlet Lifestealer is a classic, so I'm not going to get too much into that, but I think a lot of heroes have been looked at as Radiance candidates, and it's pretty funny that Lifestealer has truly went under the radar when it came to Radiance, and when the item was buffed, there's almost no one talking about Lifestealer. But it was recently, or somewhat recently, brought to my attention that he's quite good at carrying Radiance, and for a long time, Radiance Lifestealer has been a thing. This is an old build, right? Especially when you could hop in the Ancient very early into the game. I think you used to be able to do it when you hit level 6, which was like, I know now, I think it's when you hit level 12, but I think you used to be able to do it at level 6, which is really funny. You just rush Radiance and run around in a creep. Oh god, it was so bad, actually. But yeah, I'm a big fan of going Armlet into Radiance, and let me explain why. I think the downside of Radiance as an item, similar to the reason I said on Necro, is it just slows down in early timing of the hero. It makes you very killable when you have a sacred relic in your inventory. Now I know you might be saying, but speed, I can buy the Talisman of Evasion. Yes, you could. You definitely could do that, and it still will be not a great investment of gold compared to, let's say, a Hood of Defiance, which costs the same amount. And so when you're buying Radiance, you need to make sure you can get away with it. The reason why it's good on Lifestealer is in some games, especially if you're last picking carry in your pubs, which often you should be, if you're picking it into a game where the enemy does not have a great way to lock down Lifestealer, Armlet Lifestealer should basically never die while farming his lane, and that's all you have to do. The reason why I prefer Armlet over the Radiance Rush is because it makes you a little bit tankier. Having something like Phase Boots Helm of Iron Will makes your hero have so much armor that when you click Rage, you're basically invincible, and I think that's a big deal. On top of that, this is a hero that can sustain the active of Armlet, and if you don't understand how Armlet works, it's an item that I believe gives about 75 damage. I mean, that's insane, right? This is an item that makes you hit, in terms of right-click damage, harder than Radiance for 2.3k gold, and people don't get that. Obviously, the sacrifice of the item is it doesn't give you an HP pool unless you activate it, so you can die to things like Silences, Disruptor, LD Puck, Skywrath. It definitely doesn't protect you against those heroes, and so you have to be careful, well, to an extent, against those heroes, so you have to be careful, but in some games, I mean, this item just makes you unkillable because of the armor it gives you and the ability to fight back, and in terms of farming pace, it's great. And how I see Lifestealer as a hero is its best fit when it can sit in the safe lane for 15 minutes, maybe even 16, 17 minutes. It can just sit there, make a rotation if needed. Enemy diving the tier 1, TP in, click a hero to death, infest a teammate and save them by giving them HP, which is actually really strong. I'm honestly so surprised when I see a Lifestealer infest how much HP it gives. Like, really crazy stuff. Big benefit to the hero as a carry. Like, super good with these Leshraks. I played a game recently where we picked Lifestealer last and I played Marcy off lane. I would kind of just hop in, try to get a kill as Marcy. He would hop in and heal me up after I, took quite a bit of damage, and it felt very synergistic, just the ability to have my carry get a kill and then come over, save a teammate. It's a cool concept, and the Radiance is great, right? It's just great on Lifestealer. It prevents you from getting kited. You're going to do damage even when you're getting kited a little bit, which sometimes can be a problem of the hero, so that's obviously very, very nice, and it heavily speeds up your farming pace. When you can drag camps together, it's a big deal, and also in terms of killing creep waves, it's just really, really nice. And I think the reason why people will go wrong with just like rushing Radiance and then going some other big item is they're going to lack that early burst of damage. Armlet Radiance makes you hit for nearly 120 more. You want the attack speed from Armlet to synergize with the Radiance, base flat damage that gives you the 55. And so it just makes too much sense to me to go these combinations of items. After that, I recommend going something like Halberd if you need a little bit of survivability, BKB if the enemy team counters you, and that's, definitely a good way to go about things. But yeah, that's going to be about all for today's video. I do want to say that for support roles, I know I didn't fully cover them, but I literally couldn't find a build I truly wanted to talk about. So if you guys have cool ones that you've been, experimenting with, I would love for you guys to put it in the comment section. Maybe I'll pin one of them if it looks like a cool, legit build that people can run in their ranked games. But yeah, just a hero in general, I'm not going to lie, I think this hero is very, very strong right now at every level. I think it's one of the best supports in the game. Criminally underrated, like criminally underrated. This hero, while it might not be the best laner, some lanes it's quite good. The dual breath level 3 timing is very good. And in terms of mid-game potential, Ice Path is just a damn crazy spell. It's been buffed so many times now where that thing just lingers on the ground, and if you step in it, you get stunned for a long time. That used to not be the case. The longer it lingered, the less it did. Now, barely feels like that's true. I mean, it's insane, actually. And Macropyre, very good spell. Ever since they made it do linger damage as well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you get skimmed by Macropyre and you walk out of it, you'll still take like 100 damage or something like that, 110, and that's just going to secure a lot of kills, and it does, like, trust me, and it does. So yeah, I mean, I just think Macropyre is such a low cooldown, high damage spell that allows you to, you know, get big kills. Ice Path scales like so freaking well. Your hero gives, you know, really nice wave clear. I think they just buffed Glyph again, and Liquid Fire is insanely good against Glyph push when you're pushing because it slows the attack speed. It makes the Glyph way less powerful. And so this hero's versatile. It's good at playing like a pickoff draft. It can play a death ball draft. You know, it can play a lot of different styles, and I think that really benefits a hero like Jakiro in pubs because hard to counter pick in lane. You could be like, oh, I just pick Legion. It's like, I don't even think Legion's good against Jakiro. I think that matchup's like not even good. Your hero's really bad against Ice Path until you have BKB. Like, Jakiro's quite good against you in team fights, and so I don't know. I just feel like there's no truly bad matchups. Maybe Brood is like okay against Jakiro from my experience, but even then people pick Jakiro literally into Brood. I see that in pro games, which I think is questionable, but you know, it's besides the point. Either way, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.